I'm Rick, and I want to talk about making the swivel pin for the forward trigger of a mid-handle. A mid-handle has the handle mounted in the mid of the gun. This means that a push rod has to run from up here, from where your hand is, where a trigger will be, back to the mechanism back here. And you need a separate trigger up the front. The trigger swivels through a hole just below the top of the stock. It needs a pin to act as a spindle. When I sealed the gun, I poured a lot of sealant down the hole to make sure there was no dry or bare wood inside the actual hole itself. To get rid of excess sealant, I ring out the hole and the appropriate size drill. Then I had to cut and shape the pin. To work out the length of the pin, I measured up with a set of calipers. Then I cut the pin using a hacksaw. It's a lot easier to cut than a vise. Measure twice and cut once. The pin came out the right length. But where I'd used the hacksaw, the end of the pin were raw, sharp edges, didn't look any good. So I decided to turn the ends of the pin using a power drill or battery drill and a file. I put the pin in the chuck of a drill, spun up the drill and used the file to shape and round the end of the pin. I used the jaws of the vise as a rest, and you can see the end comes up a nice hemispherical shape, which not only looks better when it's in the gun, but also is easier to push through the small hole in the actual tip of the trigger. I measured the second time, dropped in the trigger, and it works. Job done.